Welcome back to the channel. I want to show you guys the differences between Resolve Studio and free version. I haven't seen a definitive video, so I thought I'd go over not all the features, but a handful that make the $295 price tag worth the price of admission. Here we are on the Blackmagic Design Studio splash page. Right away, this is letting you know you can only finish projects up to 3840 by 2160 at 30 FPS. So when you get Studio, this will let you work with material up to 32K at 120. This also gives you access to HDR and a whole bunch of other features. We'll just touch on some of them. First up is more GPU acceleration. This actually will give you a huge performance boost by tapping into your computer's resources instead of just relying on the RAM. So this will be optimized for Metal or Apple Silicon or OpenCL and CUDA for your Windows and Linux machines. You get an advanced noise reduction plugin. If you haven't seen that, noise reduction actually lives over on the color page right down here, and it says motion effects. You can also use this as a drop-in plugin, but here I have this enabled on this shot. If we go down here and use AI Ultra Noise Reduction, hit Analyze, you'll get this little box here. This box lets you pick a spot in your image that you might have noise and you want it to analyze. And then it adjusts the settings here based on what it sees. So as it analyzes, you can see if we shut this off, it gets a little more grainy and textured looking here. If we turn this back on, you can see it smooths it out. And there's a few different options under there. We also have some other features: lens distortion, HDR scopes, stereoscopic 3D, remote monitoring and grading. Now here's a feature that I kind of took for granted. If we go under workspace here, we have clean video feed, and then you'll have any external monitors you have. So I actually have mine hooked up to an external monitor where we get a view much like this, where as I'm grading or editing, I can see a full screen, and then I have this screen here where I have access to my timeline and my panels. Remote monitoring and grading actually works by sending a feed that looks like that full screen out to a third party. So if you're working with a client, they can actually view your screen actively as you're grading and making changes in real time. This could be on a monitor on their system, a computer, an iPad, an iPhone. And then you can actually send out the same thing to have the grade happen remotely. So they would remote into your system where all your media and your project is attached. It's like they're sitting at your desk, able to work on your system remotely. We also have DCTLs, which sort of work like lookup tables, but they're done through your GPU instead of a just mathematical algorithm for color space transforms. One of the main things here is you get over 40 GPU and CPU accelerated effects. Well, there's a whole bunch of these. They're not all listed. Some of them are lens flares, analog damage, patch replacer, dirt removal, the film look creator, cinematic haze, all kinds of stuff. Patch replacer, just a ton. So they actually don't even list it as a definitive list, but there's a ton in there. And speaking of that, if you were to use one of these that are studio only, like here I have Magic Mask on this shot. You can see it's enabled right here, and if I turn this on, you can see we pretty quickly get a nice isolation of this subject, and all I did really was just do a couple of clicks right on this image, and 2 clicks and it's on faster, and we get a nice cutout of this image. Now if you were to use this on the free version here, you get this DaVinci Resolve Studio overlay. So here I tried to drop Cinematic Haze on this node here. Plugin's still in the list, but as I drop it in, you get this pop-up box here that says you've reached a limitation. So right here, once again, it says you can work with resolution higher than UHD or 60, noise reduction, AI-based tools, clean video feed, IMF, a bunch of this stuff. This actually says $299, although on the website it's usually $295. So this will actually let you use the plugin still. So it's active and you'll be able to see what it does, but you won't be able to do it without this watermark. So as we move our way down, we do get the AI neural engine. Now this works on almost every page of Resolve in some way. Inside your media pool, there's facial recognition. There's super scale, speed warping, opticals, object isolation and tracking, depth map, smart reframe, scene cut. And then for audio delivery, you can now deliver with Dolby, Atmos mastering, and IMF audio deliverables. There's the expanded format support. Now what that means is a lot of these professional level cameras shoot with certain codecs that aren't going to be compatible with the free version. In fact, most of the time you can work with 8-bit, but anything higher, which is really what you want to be working with, just won't work. You might be able to bring it in, but you can't finish or export with it. This also works with the H.264 and 265 round-trip delivery. I'll get into that in just a second. There's Dolby Vision. There's IMF encoding and decoding. You can actually make DCPs. You do have to have a separate license to encrypt, but you can do that as well in the studio version. I also found this other page here from this website called Toolfarm where they break down some of the differences. This says updated for 20 in April of 25. So this gives a link to the lifetime studio license, which on here says $295, and a link to the free version. And then it breaks down some of the features here. Some of these are ones we've already touched, but briefly, we have Audio Assistant. That'll do a pre-mix based on your audio content. Animated subtitles, beat detector. Dialogue matcher helps match your dialogue takes to make the tone sound the same. We have Magic Mask, the music editor, the smart switch, super scale, voice convert. We have text-based editing, transcription. There's IntelliTrack, noise reduction, film look creator, whole bunch of stuff. Fusion, face refinement, face detection. Some of these go between the pages. We have voice isolation, dialogue separator, music remixer, frame IO integration. So then here, further down, touches on some of the things we already looked at, like GPU acceleration. So depending on how your computer is configured, here's some of the extra formats like Dolby Vision, ABC HD, H.264, so all these other codecs. We have the accelerated H.264 and 265 decoding with a comparison video that actually shows you the performance upgrade you'd get using an NVIDIA card in this case. Here's the limitation where we're 4K 60 versus 32K 120. And then here's a little more of a breakdown of all the AI neural engine tools. So once again, the animated subs, dialogue matcher, smart switch, super scale, voice convert, voice isolation, face refinement, speed warping, noise reduction, just a bunch of stuff. So that's a handful of a lot of the default reasons why I end up using Studio. Clean video feed is a huge one, the 10-bit resolution, and working with all those camera codecs where you might not even be able to bring them in, or it'll say media offline even though it's a valid file. You'll get a huge performance boost just for using the resources of your computer, as well as the higher resolutions and frame rates and all the additional plugins. So that pretty much sums up why I think the $295 price tag is worth it. If you're going to do this in a professional setting, you're going to need access to all those codecs, and all those plugins really just make it worthwhile between Magic Mask, the film look creator, all those sort of things. Alright, if you found this helpful, consider giving me a like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below if you got another topic you want me to make a video on. And until next time, thanks for watching.